Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today we're going to take a look at The Walking Dead comic, issue 183. It's a comic book review, so if you haven't read the issue yet, there will be spoilers. We will be taking a look at some artwork and discussing the story, especially these zombies. Man, I love my zombies. Anyway, before we dive into the comic, those who subscribe to this channel for a while now, you know the drill. We are putting up some more limited stock of my comic, Doomsday Kingdom, issue number 1, the day variant, issue number 1, night variant, issue number 1, second print, and then issue number 2. So check that out on the website. And real soon we are announcing, actually any day now, we are announcing issue 3 digital release date as well as a physical pre-order date. So any day now. And let me know about the additional comics. I'm so late on Oblivion Song, but I've been meaning to discuss that one. So if you guys are interested, let me know and we'll check that out. Anyhow, diving into this issue first, obviously the cover hinted a lot as to what we were going to get within the issue. I'm kind of hoping, or actually, I'm sorry, after reading this, I was kind of hoping they went with a different cover and the community riot would completely blindside us. After reading it, I kind of feel like that would have been a little bit better, because that was one of the oh shit moments, and it was spoiled on the cover a while in advance. And I do appreciate covers have to be the trailer. It is the trailer for a movie. That's what the covers are for a comic book. This is one of the big promotional pieces, probably the biggest, showcasing the cover of a future issue, and then like the week before they do a preview, which is only a few panels from inside the story. But I think the cover is the big thing. That's the equivalent of a trailer. So I kind of now wish this changed up and it didn't really showcase that. So anyway, we got Michonne and her daughter Elodie getting an escort to this Greensville or something like that. And again, I think this is something that Robert Kirkman needs to walk a fine line with, as far as having a community this big and then having soldiers that aren't all that competent, and having our heroes constantly come to the rescue to showcase how badass they are. And I think this is something that any writer basically needs to walk a fine line with, because it is getting to be a little borderline unbelievable that they wouldn't be at least skilled enough to be able to handle a handful of zombies without things getting overrun. And we do have a little Walking Dead ninja zombie moment in the comic book. These are kind of rare, I feel like, but in one moment there's no zombies. He has it all under control, and in the next moment it's like, booyah, where'd you guys come from? So that was a bit like a head scratcher. Anyway, so this is one of my favorite panels recently with Michonne here and this zombie. I love that. And they get to this, let me make sure it's called Greenville. I told you I'd like it. Welcome to Greenville, ladies. Yeah, it's kind of like this lakeside resort, and it is so cool. I do wish we had a little bit more time to take in this resort area. We only get a few panels here, a glimpse of them on the lake, eating, just relaxing. But I kind of wish it opened up a little bit more, just to get a feel of how this place functioned and what else is there and how does it look. We get a look at poverty at Greensville, and then Michonne, obviously, where she comes from. She hooks them up with some food, and this chick is real uptight about it. And we have one of... Nope, that's coming later. Essentially what happens is this guy starts a fight. There's a domestic dispute between one of the guards, this guy, and this guy's wife. So there's a love triangle. He attacks the guards. The guards go nuts and they beat his ass. End up killing him. We don't know that yet. Michonne steps in and says, hey, no, don't do that. And then Lance wants Michonne to be the lawyer to represent the cops. It's interesting, it is. And again, this is one of those moments where I think Kirkman is actually doing a fine line between pulling stuff that does happen in real life and then incorporating it in a story and examining the different sides, outcomes, just all different aspects. But again, it needs to be organic within the story. And this, I believe, fits with everything they've been setting up. It needs to be fun and interesting. And I think where a lot of writers go wrong is they want to tell the readers how they should feel when this happens. As a writer, I strongly believe you should let the story unfold and keep the lectures out. You know, readers are just going to get annoyed. And I do think Robert Kirkman did a good job as far as leaving those lectures out. They're not telling you what, based on this scenario, I guess we all could kind of side with Michonne. You know what I mean? So, anyhow, so shit pops off. There's this riot that reminded me of Gangs of New York. I don't know why, but at the end, this gets a little clunky. And I did sit on this a moment to think, damn, how could they have done this any different? As far as Michonne and them, this shit just pops off, and we're skipping a lot of events. Shit hits the fan, they start running away, and then immediately we turn to Rick has shown up already. And it seems like we just left him at the communities. But this is where, on one side, I do think, man, how could they have added maybe a little more to flesh that out and fill it in? But on the flip side, would it come out as just that, filler? Do we really need to see them? If this is the story, if this is the main focus of the story, do we really need to see them traveling back? At first I thought, wow, that was jarring. You know, we went right from Michonne to Rick just showing up. I would have imagined we go from Michonne to seeing Rick and the governor getting close to the community and discussing, oh, you know what, this looks beautiful already. You know, the governor kind of hypes it up a little bit, and then they get even closer. They see smoke. Oh no, what's going on? They send guards ahead, and Rick is like, no, we should go see. You know what I mean? Like that type of approach. But in the same strength, when you only have so much in an issue to do, I'm kind of fine with this, even though that did feel a little jarring when I was reading it, going from Michonne fighting or running away from the mob, the fighting off the guards, to Rick already at the community, and then the governor being like, holy fuck. However, I'm still not sure where Robert Kirkman is going to go with this story. Here's the variant cover for those interested. I think this is actually a pretty good variant. I'm not really liking the artist's what's the word I'm looking for? Not really liking the artist's version of some of the characters, but there's a few I think were done really well, and Ezekiel's definitely one of them. As a matter of fact, I think Maggie was also done well. Yeah, you know what? Ezekiel reminds me of Ezekiel from the TV show, and Maggie is, I want to say, identical to the girl who plays on Game of Thrones, but not in Game of Thrones, not Cersei. Judge Dredd. She was that girl who sold the slow-mo. If you guys ever seen that, that's like identical. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I think that's identical though. Anyhow, I'm not sure where Robert Kirkman is going with this story and the Commonwealth community as a whole. There's a few hints in the back in the letter hacks that Michonne is going to die. They've been hinting that for a while. I don't think that's really necessary, especially when they have the storyline with Elodie just kicking off. That would seem kind of clumpy. You know what I'm saying? Because Elodie actually, I don't know how long he's had this plan, but Elodie fits perfectly with what they're doing. They need a character because Rick and gang can just bounce. They could say, nope, this isn't for us, we're out of here. And Michonne, Elodie living there and having connections. Michonne finding her daughter there. And then now Michonne getting a job there as the law. But now she's stuck in this predicament where if she's a community there, if she's in this community, if she's getting, you know, the best house, the best treatment, food, she's actually receiving stuff of value. And I kind of get a feeling that Kirkman might go in this direction, where Michonne's like, I don't want to be a part of this community. We're out of here. And then the community leaders are like, well, we're going to have to arrest you. We gave you something of value. We gave you the best apartment you know, in the best community. You have guarded protection. That stuff other people pay for. You have food. You don't ask for nothing. Anything you want, you get. You know what I'm saying? So she's being essentially this privileged life. She hasn't paid for it yet. So I do kind of feel like they're trying to, the story creatively, Kirkman's going to trap this character in a story where even if she wanted to get out, I mean, it's only one possibility. Another possibility could be that the governor and Rick have sort of a meeting of the minds. But then what's that going to do for the community? Maybe they want to bring Rick on to help. And again, I'm just thinking out loud here. I really don't know where I would want the Commonwealth to go. As far as connecting with our group, I would like for them to network with the Commonwealth, and I would like to follow some characters in the Commonwealth and kind of expand the story of The Walking Dead and see what the Commonwealth is like, but in an interesting way, not just, you know, living there on the side of the street. And I also can't, and I hate sounding like that, but I also can't say one thing in particular just because how it weirdly relates to Doomsday Kingdom. If you open up issue 2, page 1, you see this transition shot of everything that's going to happen coming up in the story. And you have the cowboy here in the city with the gold. Well, there's a couple things and a couple ideas I want to bring up that could happen, like a similar environment, so to speak, in this story. But I can't because I'll spoil my own comic. So I'm kind of like, okay, you know what? This is a damaged copy. If you see me manhandling this, you're not getting this. Nope, it's damaged down here somewhere. You won't be getting this copy. Anyhow, that's why I'm doing that. These are up for sale, though. These aren't damaged. Anyway, The Walking Dead, issue 185. I thought it was okay. I think this is the most I've been interested in the Commonwealth, watching it fall apart. And I think it fell apart in a realistic way with what they set up as far as the, the cops out of control and beating people up. I don't think, no matter what we do in our society, I don't think that's going away. You know, some cop out there is always going to crack some skulls, no matter what. So I think it'll be relevant for years to come. You just need to be careful you don't get too preachy with these. But since it's not really about race, it's really about, in this, it's about class, the classes and society within the Commonwealth. I think that's easier for readers to digest this without feeling like, oh, we're getting into some political rhetoric here. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that's what it is. I want to be very careful. I'm just saying I think this is easier for readers to digest because how it feels organic within the storyline and everything I just mentioned. So, yeah, I think this is okay. Like I said, just okay because what's coming up next I personally find a little more interesting. What I don't want to happen is after this issue, Rick and the governor show up and the army gets everyone, to stop rioting. And then they go back to normal. But there's that underlining shit might pop off again. Because that just sounds kind of boring. I want this to escalate into something that's going to impact, hopefully, the story coming up. Anyway, thoughts and opinions. This is probably one of the first times with The Walking Dead where I have predicted exactly where they're going to go. Just because it's the only way to go. You can only go up. When you have a post-apocalyptic story where you're building things up from nothing, from the outbreak and the downfall of society. Think about it. The post-apocalypse is about the aftermath of the downfall of society. There's no way to go, no matter what, except for up. And this was bound to happen. Them get to a community that is huge and massive and returning to some sort of normalcy. So although I predicted that, and I think a lot of us did, because again, it's the only way to go. But once we're here, this is probably one of the first times where I feel like I have no clue where the story's going to go. Besides the general idea of network of communities that are growing and huge and returning back to normalcy. But where do you go for there? You know, in that case, where's this story going to go? So thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. Let me know what you think. Sorry about this way of recording. I don't think I mentioned it, but it's so hot in North Carolina, the power keeps cutting out. And I started making this on the computer, and the power shut out, and it ruined my shit. So, sorry. Hit that thumbs up button, because I think at least this will be high def. So, thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.